One of the things that excited me about moving to Minnesota was changing careers. After 20 years of running my own business, I was worn out and tired and looking for something different. Not the least of which was just maybe some paid time off, maybe an occasional vacation day. So I really had no idea what I might do here in Duluth. It's not exactly a boom town like Portland, but I was going to give myself the summer to work on the barn and then try to find a job. So I started looking after a couple months, I guess. And on one of the websites, I saw a opening for a cabinet maker at a cabinet shop. And although it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, I thought I at least had the skill set for it. It probably paid better than working retail at Menards, although I did entertain the idea of working at Menards because, we need a lot of building materials, so I could easily spend my paychecks on that, which maybe wouldn't be a good thing. So I applied for this job, and actually before I heard from them, I saw that they had also posted a job, same company, for a project manager, which also, didn't exactly thrill me, since I had done that for a long time. But there again, I at least had a skill set, and I felt like, I could at least qualify for the job. So I eventually I talked to the HR person and explained to her that yes, I had applied for the cabinet maker job, but if they were looking for someone to, stand for 10 hours operating an edge bander or something like that, I'm not that person. And I, said that I have managed construction projects for over 20 years. So eventually she brought me, I had a pretty lengthy phone interview with her, and eventually brought me in to meet with the owner of the company. And had about an hour-long interview. I thought it went well. I was very impressed with the company. They had just moved into a brand new building in May. 35,000 square foot shop space. 54 employees. And it just, it was kind of an impressive operation. So the interview went well, I thought, and about a week or so later they offered me a job, and I accepted the position. It was supposed to be they titled it as a project management assistant, which don't really care about the title, but as I got into the job and learned the new software and started learning, how they do things and processes and standard procedure and all that, spent a lot of time drawing stuff, sort of the life of work and commercial casework is worse. There's a fleet of people who bid on projects, and when we're awarded those projects, then an engineer takes over and translates the architect drawings into shop drawings that then have to get resubmitted to the architect and the builder. They usually mark those up, called redlining, things that need to change. Undoubtedly there's questions and things that need to be sorted out, and then once all those things get sorted out, then an engineer takes the shop drawings and turns it into production drawings and orders all the material and cuts the job up into phases that are sort of bite size manageable pieces. Oftentimes these large commercial projects already have phases stepped out. You know, it might be a floor at a time, it might be, you know, a wing or an area, or so there's different ways that it gets parceled out, but the engineer's job is to basically program the thing. So the software also operates the machines. And so once it's drawn, the software optimizes all the parts and tells you how many sheets of whatnot you need, and you have to order that material and order all the hardware, and then make very detailed drawings for the fabricators to build the stuff, and then also have detailed drawings for the installation carpenters to install the stuff. So as I learned the ropes and made my way through, and after my 90-day review, it seemed like they were in need of more engineers, more than project management. And honestly, after learning more about the project manager part, I'm not so sure that I really wanted to take that on at that time. One of the managers in our office has about 50 projects that he's working on. And I mean, one of them is $1 point something million of casework in a hotel in California. It's just one of the projects he has to manage. So, not sure if I have the guts or the drive to take on something like that. So the owner and I just agreed that I would learn more of the engineering part. A couple of the engineers in the office are 170, one's probably in his late 60s, and there's talk that they're going to be retiring pretty soon. So it seemed like that was a good time for me to sort of learn their skills. Needless to say, it's going to take many years for me to really get up to speed to where they are. Both of them have been with the company over 20 years. The company itself has been in business for almost 80 years, so kind of a Duluth fixture, pun included there. According to a lot of my coworkers, there's probably not a building in Duluth that we haven't worked on maybe more than once. But like I say, we kind of are spreading out. We do a lot of work down in the Twin Cities, and we're doing a job in California. We've done a job in DC. Just, a lot of work. Multi-million-dollar business, and going from little small cabinet maker to this kind of operation, frankly, is overwhelming and certainly humbling. I like to joke that I went from being the smartest guy in the room, because not to be egotistical, but that's kind of the job of a general contractor, is to problem solve, and oftentimes you're dealing with the architect and the homeowner and other trades, and you really kind of have to sort all those details out. So I joke that I went from being the smartest guy in the room to honestly being the dumbest. So incredibly humbling, but I'm up for the challenge. I'm learning a lot. But one of the best parts about my job is, I work 45-ish hours a week, and I come home and I leave my job at home. There's times where I think things through at home, but it's not like it was running a business, and I just absolutely love that. So without further ado, let's check out my new job. Here we are in the project manager engineering section. This is where everything gets drawn and designed and ordered. This is my cubicle. I'm lucky enough to not only have a stand-sit desk, but I also have a nice window, which doesn't show right now because it's dark. That's plans for a hospital I'm working on. And then you head down that breezeway to the shop. All right, let's take a walk through the shop, show you around. Over here on the right, we got a nice clamp rack. You know what they say about making stuff. You can never have too many clamps. This is kind of the fabrication end of the area here. One of their mini table saws. And over here on the right is the finishing area. They do a lot of finishing and have a quite big finishing space. A nice big spray booth. I basically have 2 guys spraying in there most of the time. This is many assorted power tools there. Pile of casework that's ready for finish. It's an example of all the carts. I don't know, there must be 50 of those carts scattered around with parts. This is the, like I say, the fabrication area. Each fabricator has their own bench and their own toolbox, and these benches are quite nice. They're actually mechanical, so you can move it up and down. I don't know the highest it goes, but you could probably lower it to maybe a foot-ish off the floor. I know when I was working back there for a week, I kept forgetting that the thing moved, so I just kept grabbing boxes and throwing them up there, but I'll demonstrate here. It goes down and it goes up. Not sure exactly how high it can go, but it's pretty convenient, depending on what task you're doing, to be able to lower that. Here's a bunch of casework that's bundled ready to ship. This is a lot of the installation tools, boring machines, whatnot. Everyone has their own case clamp, which is a giant mechanical clamp. So you throw a box in there and it clamps it nice and square. You leave it in there for, 15 minutes for the glue to set. That red and black machine, it's a chipper. It's just attached to the dust collector, so any debris or any scraps, you just throw it in there and it chips it up. Beyond that is all the solid surface fabrication, so Corian countertops. We do a lot of Corian work. Basically 2 guys. There's a big sander there too. And then on the other side of that, there's the big chipping machine. I should have shot inside it. You could see it. It's just these big giant teeth. That's the laminate fabrication area over there. We still do a lot of Formica countertops. For the people who are trying to save a buck, Formica is definitely still the cheapest. And do quite a bit of it. There you can see some vanity tops with the sinks cut out. Over here is laminate storage. Do your best to order the right amount of laminate, and if you don't, this is where it goes to die. And this is getting to, over there's more racks with more parts. That's our big panel clamp. We can, or press, we can lay up sheets of board, put veneer on it or laminate or whatever. This is, used to be their big router, which they've had, I don't know how long, quite a while. It's one of the 3 routers they have. This is actually their edge bander, which is definitely the biggest edge bander I've ever seen. You can see sort of the conveyor. You feed it through, and then the conveyor basically shoots it back to the operator at the end. So it's just kind of this revolving door. Here is the new router, Dynastic router. It's got a 12-foot bed on it, and that's the conveyor that spits the parts out after they get cut. Real state-of-the-art. That's brand new in this building here. As you can see, there's another chipper in the background. Overhead there, that's part of the dust collector. Didn't get a very good shot of that. Take a little walk through the banding section. This is all the different edge banding that we have. There again, it's a little like the laminate. You order what you think you're going to need, and if you order too much, this is where it goes to collect dust. Just miles and miles of banding. And then over here, we get to the big beam saw, which I don't know if people aren't familiar with the beam saw. It's basically a straight cutting saw. It's got a very large blade. I think it can cut up to 4 sheets of 3/4 material at a time. It's a little like a panel saw, but it's lays flat, and of course computer controlled. So anything that's a straight cut gets cut on this machine, and anything with a curved cut or an angled cut generally gets cut on that big router. That is also a new machine in this new shop space. So now we're sort of on the back side of the new router, and over on the right is where all the material's stored. I'll cut to a video showing the store master. That works, but it's basically that automated machine you see up there on the right that goes and picks the material with a vacuum. And I'm not sure how many piles we have. I mean, there's got to be hundreds of sheets. I mean, maybe thousands of sheets stored in there. And the fence is basically to keep people out of there so you don't get accidentally picked up by the machine. But this is also a new tool for the new shop, which has greatly increased productivity just because no one's handling them anymore. I mean, they come in on a forklift and that machine stocks it. And here's the front side of the router, big router, the new router. So it feeds it in, and then, like I say, can cut anything. And then hits the conveyor and pushes it out to the operator for him to stack on a cart. I'm not sure what these various stacks of things are, and there's a lot of projects going on, obviously. A lot of stuff I don't know what is being made. The machine right there with the little hopper on top is a doweling machine. It dowels a hole and inserts a dowel. Up ahead, that's the dust collection system. Super state of the art. Depending on how many machines are going at a time, it can really up ramp or down ramp all the dust collection. There's a panel saw, which people are, well, maybe some people watching are a little more familiar with it. Just a basically straight cut for sheet goods. Pretty handy. I haven't spent much time using one, but and then looking back into the shipping department, that's a whole nother 5,000 square feet, I think, where we have multiple trucks and things come and go, and a couple of forklifts. So yeah, that's pretty much the extent of it.